A very beautiful, warm welcome to each and every one of you. This is the Zoe Breakfast Show. Good morning. I am your host, Arizona Brian, of course, coming to you right here, right now. Here at the show. It's a Tuesday, by the way. It's a Tuesday. How is your Tuesday going? It's about 7:33 a.m. 7:33 a.m. in the morning. Where are you? What are you doing right now? Have you just woken up? Are you taking breakfast? Are you praying? What are you doing right now? This is the Zoe Breakfast Show, and welcome to you all. This is a place that you are supposed to be. This is a place that is intended for you. This is a place that is good. Basically, this is a place every single morning from Monday to Friday. Meet us here talking about one or two things that are gonna help you, educate you, add value to the things you already have, add value to yourself, add value to the things you see and maybe you don't know. And again, this is where we talk about things that people don't talk about. This is where we talk about some new trendy things that crop up in life, because as you know, time goes and it is good for us, it is right for us to always keep on going with the times. And this is the best place to do that, because we bring to you all these incredible stuff, all those things that you need to have to maneuver this world. And speaking of which, today being a Tuesday and the month of August being the way it is, how is it? Let me know what your August, how your August has been. Let me know how your Tuesday is going so far. I know it's very early in the morning, but some people woke up at 4, others woke up at 5, others woke up at 3, others never slept. Young people wameshinda kwa social media, you know, doing one or two things. It is right, it is not bad, but you know, get yourself some time to rest. Hey, how was yesterday? How was Monday going? You know, and a lot of people were saying Mondays. Well, have you met Tuesday? You know, Monday is when you have a lot of things going on because you're just from a weekend, you know. But Tuesday is the new Monday, because Tuesday is where now Monday's work, you've done Monday's work, you said I'm going to do it, I'm going to procrastinate, maybe probably, and push it to Tuesday. Alafu unafika Tuesday and you realize Tuesday is also another serious day. Well, let me know how it's going. And a very big shout out to everyone who's just checking in. A very big shout out to everyone who is and has always been tuning in to the Zoe Breakfast Show. We don't take it for granted. I personally appreciate you guys very, very much. So a very big shout out and kudos to you guys. Now, here at the Breakfast Show, kama kawaida, I tell you people, this is a place where you get that good vibe, place where you get that good energy kicking in your soul and in your life. When you go out there and it's in the morning, when you go out there in your workplaces, in your schools, wherever you guys go, you have to go with that positive energy. You have to go with that good psych and to have a good day. Yes, and today being a Tuesday, being Technology Tuesday, we have a lot of stuff in line for you guys. So you guys want to stick around and find out what we have for you. Now, every single time at the morning, at the Breakfast Show, we do a morning devotion. Now, the reason we do these morning devotions is because the best way to start your morning is to start your morning very mindful of yourself, right? You start your morning so that you can have that good energy, that good positive aura emanating from you, right? We don't want to start mornings where you're sad, you're depressed, you're shallow, you don't know what to do, mornings are supposed to be started with a very high kick. And that is why there's no better way to start a morning than to start a morning with the Word of God. And right now, being 7:37 a.m., we are going to head straight into the morning devotion of today. And today we are talking about trusting in the Lord with all our hearts and leaning not in our own understanding, and in all the ways that we have and that we do and that we go, submitting to God, and He makes our paths straight Now, these are words from the book of Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6, NIV version. It says, NIV, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit in him, and he will make your paths straight. Human beings, every single time, we tend to rely on our own strength, our own resources, our own capabilities, our own powers, our own thoughts, our own ideas, our own direction, our own everything, our own, and it is high time that you don't have to do it alone, right? You don't have to carry the burden alone. You don't have to struggle alone. You don't have to do all these things necessarily alone. That there is somebody who is always checking up on you on a daily. There is somebody who is always there for you on a regular. There is somebody who is always looking for you in the crowd to make sure that you are having the best life possible. There is somebody who, when you cry, when you pray, when you are asking for help, there is somebody who runs to you and picks you up from where you've fallen. We don't have to do it on our own. We don't have to fight these battles on our own. We don't have to basically do anything on our own. And that is why today's morning devotion verse, being Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6, says that we should trust in the Lord with all our hearts and lean not on our own understanding. Now, let me tell you how amazing it is to trust in God. In a scenario where you don't know what you're doing, in a scenario where you don't know the next step, you don't know where, you don't know how, you don't know when, you don't know what is happening and things like that, trust in God. There's some power in trusting in God, telling him that in everything I do, Lord, I trust you. I give you my all, take it. I have given myself and my body and my soul as a vessel. You go use it according to your own will and purpose for me. And there's no way that God is going to use you in a bad way. Now, a lot of people say, especially young people, tunasemanga, mimi Mungu kama umeamua kunitumia kama you are one of your soldiers, to fight one or two things, kama ni character development, kama if you want to teach people patience, unanitumia. Kama unataka kufunza watu about love, unanitumia. Mungu, I don't be one of your soldiers, tafadhali tafuta mwingine. Well, that is it's an ideology, it's a perception of one person, and surprisingly, unfortunately, most of us have bought that thing, that God is, in order for us to, na kuna hii kitu ingine pia, like in order for God to bless us, and in order for God to see it fit to favor us, to give us mercy.
Ignite, I'm moving immersed. We're ready to take flight. We gather around with passion so bright. Code breakers unite. Let's rewrite the bite. From Nairobi to Mombasa, Kisumu to Eldoret, we're coding the future. Can you feel the heat? Lines of code intertwine, creating something new. Together we'll innovate. There's nothing we can't do. Coding clubs stand up, breaking the mold. Oh yeah. Ticking clocks can now breaking the mold. Oh yeah, unlocking the secret stories unfold. Hands on keyboards, our dreams they can fly. Code breakers unite. We're coding day and night. Coding day and night.
Yeah.
Hi there, and thank you for taking the time to further explore this thing called faith in Jesus with us. Perhaps you've watched a video or read something online, or just had a conversation with someone that's left you with a lot of questions. What is this all about? What is this life all about? And you're saying, I just can't figure it out. Now, I'm not going to attempt to give an answer to all your questions, but I will tell you what the root cause of everything that's going wrong with our world is: sin. Sin is ignoring or rejecting God in a world that He has created, rebelling against Him by living life without reference to Him, not being and not doing everything that He requires of us in His law. Sin is the reason why we are separated from God. It is the thing that creates a disconnect in our relationship with Him, a disconnect that we simply cannot fix by our own efforts and our own actions. That is why He sent His Son, Jesus, the only perfect sacrifice able to pay the price for our sins, to take all the consequences for our actions that we deserve upon His shoulders. And the thing is, He did not just die for us, but He was buried, and on the third day He rose from the dead, proving that He has the power to deal with the sin issue in our lives and to give us hope for an eternal life with Him. This is really good news. We need to change our minds about Jesus and turn to God in trust, believing that He can save us. And we need to accept what Jesus has done for us personally. You can do this right now, right where you are. In your own words, thank Jesus and ask God for forgiveness and for a new relationship with Him. Or you can just pray this prayer with me. God, I'm sorry for living my life my own way, in a way that is not pleasing to You. Thank You for sending Your Son Jesus to take my place and dying the death that I deserved, and for rising again. Please help me as I turn away from my old life of sin and turn towards Jesus, and lead me in this new relationship with You. Amen. Now, if you've prayed that prayer or said something similar using your own words, then congratulations. This is the best decision that you will ever make. And if you are uncomfortable praying, perhaps you're still unsure or unconvinced, then we'd like to encourage you to speak to a Christian friend or pick up a copy of the Bible and read from one of the Gospels. Perhaps start with the book of Luke. In addition, let us try and help you further by filling in your name down below, and we will chat to you about it online and give you further resources to explore this amazing and exciting journey.
I know what you're feeling. You feel weak, like your fears and struggles will never end. I know it hurts when you're alone, feel it too. Even if others don't see your worth, for you, I was willing to die. I love you. You long to be different and want to prove yourself, to meet everyone's expectations. But only a few people know the real you, the pain you hide. How much longer? I know that you are tired of living like this.
Apologies for the technical hitch right there. Now, I was telling you guys that it's a Tuesday, and Tuesday we are talking rather about technology and young people. Yes, and today's studio we have a very special guest, and right about now I want to introduce him to you guys. Hello. Habari yako? Kabisa.
Yeah.
Well, to the people who are seeing you for the first time ever in their lives, introduce yourself and what you do. Yes.
So my name is Joseph Nanga Mungari. I am a full stack developer. I am the founder and CEO of Coding Clubs Kenya, as you can see here. So what we particularly do, and from that video, we train kids how to code. So coding is basically telling the computer what to do and how to do it. Yeah.
Wow. And you've mentioned a video. There's a video you guys have watched before we got into what we're doing right now, and it's about coding and things like that. So maybe a little bit about that video. Tell us a little bit about the video.
So okay, what you saw there is young kids learning how to code. So we particularly major on.
And I am here for you. Your regrets, your fears, your sin, your self-hatred. Give me everything, and I'll carry it for you. I want you to be free, on a brand new journey. And with me, you can. I am with you. I am Jesus. I died and rose again so that your life could be changed.
Hello, Fear. It's me again. I'm just calling to let you know that my plans have changed. I'm sorry you had to find out this way, but that place in my heart is now taken. But before you leave, I need you to understand. I don't want you.
As I was saying, that was an event that was happening in Thika. It was a family fun day, and it was at Chania Boys. So the event was really big, and we had all these sectors coming together, and we are pushing the agenda of STEM. What STEM means, particularly for those who don't know STEM, is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So coding lies in between technology and engineering.
Wow.
So it's also a science and it's a mathematics. So that video that you saw is us promoting coding.
Wow, that is very interesting and very amazing that you've mentioned coding, and you've mentioned something about STEM being science, technology,
engineering
and mathematics. So it's like an organization that is, you guys are like an organization, and you're pushing forth the learning rather of those sciences to young people.
Yes, particularly.
If I got it correct.
Yeah,
yes.
True.
So you do coding, and you've done coding for how many years now?
So professionally,
yeah,
I've done coding for 6 years.
6 years. Wow.
And as a trainer, I've trained for 3 years. This is where I founded this company, and I was inspired by the the creativity that kids have in nowadays technology era. So you can see a child even at 2 knowing how to use a tablet, knowing how to use a phone. So I was inspired by this ability in impacting our kids to use that technology in that particular way that it can help them and it can be beneficial to them and to their parents and anyone who's around there.
Wow, that is amazing. And small kids with their creativity, and we all know that you know, when a child is growing up, that is when their brains are developing and they can be able to amass a lot of knowledge in things like that, and that's hence coding now.
Enhanced coding. Right?
Wow, that is very amazing. Now, why do you think, as a maybe a young person is watching, why would why is coding so essential to these young people?
So the reason why coding is essential to these young people is that coding, as I said, is a procedure. It's breaking down procedures. So we have 4 major types of programming, and this is what we call coding. So we have something called procedural programming, and then we have OOP, or object-oriented programming.
Okay.
And then we have something called functional programming, and then we have scripted programming. So in those 4 categories, so we have the first one that I said, procedural. This is where basic kind of thinking applies. That means you can do this, finish this, and then go to the next. Like my elephant analogy. How do you how do you put an elephant in a fridge? So you cut it down. I'm not encouraging any poaching. So you cut it down.
You cut it down.
You open the fridge. You put the pieces. And how do you put a giraffe in the fridge? You take out the elephant, and then you put the giraffe.
The giraffe.
So that's what we call procedural programming, the way you think it. And then we have the other one, what we call OOP, or object-oriented programming. This is where game development comes in. So when you see the objects, so for example, we have a character in a video game.
Yes.
So maybe your favorite character in PUBG or any other video game. So that's a person, a persona, or a class in coding. We call him a person, like has different attribute. He has the hands, he has the gun, he has different attires, and you can change them. Now this is where game development comes in, and this is what we call OOP. Now that's a type of programming. And then we have functional. This is where we create problem. This is how you think like a problem and then create a solution. So functional programming in real life application is where we have add to cart in your websites. So for example, if I order a pizza, what do? Add to cart. So that's like a problem. I mean, I want to order this pizza. How do I get it? So that's what we say functional programming. Now the other one, which is scripted, this is where we have automations. Scripted programming means that you can automate a lot of things. So for example, you can automate a robot. Now this is where robotics comes in. So this is part where we train robotics, we train coding, and then you can combine the whole thing to make something applicable. So in those 4 categories, we have specialized in them, and anyone and any child can learn those types of programming.
Wow. You've mentioned a lot of stuff that is coding jargon, I believe. Now, and you've also said that it is easy for a young person to get all those things. It's not hard. Now, when I bring a young person into your organization, into your training grounds, what are the procedures you guys take to make sure amefika ile level? Yes.
So first of all, this is what we say: coding is applicable in any area. So for example, you've brought that person in.
Yes.
So we kind of sit down with a psychologist to understand that this person interests.
Wow.
What interests do they have? Like for example, you can't just take me to a place where I don't love. So we have to best fit you to what you love. And then we implement coding to what you're trying to pursue.
Wow.
So this is what we do.
Yes.
So for example, you're brought in person. So for example, let's say I am a musician.
Okay. Yeah.
So I do love music,
Mm.
and I want to do something with coding. So I majorly tell the person, you know what, coding, you can apply coding like this. You can build your own website in which you can advertise yourself. So nowadays we have advertisements. So you can build a website, and this is what we say, a portfolio website. A portfolio website means that you can create all the things that you do in a website.
Yes.
You advertise yourself from skills to what you can do best, and then from there you can upload it.
Wow.
And it can even go online, like the way I have my website.
Yes.
www.codingclubskenya.com.
Wow. That is good. And you've mentioned you have a website, and so www.codingkenya.
Coding Clubs Kenya.
Yeah, you guys can see the
t-shirt.
coding Club Kenya.
It's in the start of the video.
The start of the
actually.
video.
Yeah,
So that is your company.
that's my company.
So how is your company going so far?
Okay, so far we have as a startup, there's ups and downs.
Yes.
So my ups, I would speak about my ups, because when I say my downs, they will not even understand, because this is something new.
Yes.
And people have not yet, we have not sensitized it enough that everyone knows what coding is. So my downs is you're talking to a parent,
Yes.
and you're saying, coding is important to your child, and they're like,
They don't even know what
no,
coding is.
my child can learn something else. They learn different things.
Yes.
But they don't know what coding is. So I'm trying to sensitize that. So my apps have been that we have made networks.
Yes.
We have made networks. We have branded ourselves. We have partnered with other organizations that will bring additional values. So for example, if we partner with the psychology, that's an additional value to our clients, that we give them an outline. So at this particular level, we have gone a milestone. So for
Wow.
for a couple of 3 years, it's all been down, up. Because my favorite quote is, when you reach rock bottom, the only place is up.
Is up. There's nowhere else to go.
There's no other.
Yeah.
There are other place. When you reach rock bottom, the only place is up.
Is up. That is very incredible. And I like how you've mentioned that when you're approaching a young person who just wants to the beginner level, right? They want to do coding and things to do with coding. You now bring them to the psychologists.
Yeah.
Right. And that is very amazing. I mean, what other place can you go and get such services? You bring a kid in, they say they want to do music and dancing, they love mathematics, they want to do one or two things. So this means now that coding gets into each and every career people have.
Yeah, it fits. It's best fit in every career. As I said, the types of programming that you have. So if you say it's automation, you mean robotics.
Yes.
So example of a robot is a drone.
A drone, yes.
So if I'm as from the early example, if I'm a music director,
yes,
and I want to shoot
videos.
So what do I have? I have a robot.
You have a robot.
Exactly. So
Wow.
it fits in every other career, in every, from medicine, health, from journalism, everything. Yeah.
Now, before we talked about this, I was talking about the coding jargon and the coding language that you guys have. When you get into a new place and they are teaching something new, you basically don't know anything. So based on your own experiences, how have our kids been able to get this information? Like, do they take it as if it's a new thing or very complicated, or they are good with it, they go with it? For a parent who is like, "Ai, coding ni ngumu, mtoto wangu atashika kweli?"
Yeah. Okay. So this is what from our implementation.
Yes.
For what I've said is that it depends on their teacher. So number one, it depends on the teacher.
Very true.
It depends on the teacher where they are training this kid. So my first experience with kids
Yes.
is that I allow them to do whatever they want with the machine. It raises their interest. So they'll be like, oh, wow, this is a button. I mean, what does it do? They even say, there was a kid the other time, on Sunday.
Yes.
We had a kid that's saying that my mom does not allow me to use the laptop. Now I'm here, I want to use the laptop. I am using the laptop, but you can see the interests that our kids are very interested in technology. Even if you give that kid a phone, that means that they're still interested in technology.
Very true.
If you give them, it's what we call, if you give them a fish one day, you just show them how to
fish the next day.
The next day. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah.
And for a parent who is watching at home, and maybe you are wondering about all these coding, manenos, and things like that, it is very important. And as we've been told by Mr. Joseph, it is very important to let our kids, even young people and the youths, and I guess this cuts across everyone because everyone is in their careers and things like that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Because something else I've realized that after you're done with Form 4, people are saying, you know what, end of your computer.
Yes.
You have heard that saying, end of your computer.
Many times.
So when you're saying that, it means that after high school, everything is end of your computer. So what we are trying to introduce to those younger adults is that we have been doing Word, MS, all those packages that you say. These are normal packages. But in a normal day and age technology era, we are advancing. We are using something called AI. Now this is where we have functional programming. AI is part of. We have the major AIs. So for us to run with the pace, you have to do something extra. So that's why we introduce coding. Yeah, and we call it that package we call a junior software developer.
Junior software developer.
They can check out in our website. Yeah.
That is good. So
for those who have finished.
Form 4. Yeah, exactly. So it's also a great opportunity. And when we wind up Kule Mwisho, he will tell us where we can find him. So if you're a parent and you have a kid at home who you see and your interest here and there, it is very important you check in with Mr. Joseph. We'll have to know where the companies and everything come from. Hapo mwisho. So you want to, you want to stay tuned, So how do you make coding engaging and accessible for children of different ages and skill levels? Like if I'm 24 and a kid is 5, do you teach us the same thing, or you have specifics?
Okay, so I have specifics. So a kid, so we start from 5
years.
So a 5-year-old kid and a teenager, they learn different things. So a teenager can learn something. We can do a combination of robotics and coding. And these young ones, we can teach them something called procedural. Now we can train them how to think on their own, like procedures. And once a kid starts thinking in a procedural manner, they can even procedurally think even in outside and start thinking about their careers in a different particular way. They will start thinking about their schoolwork in a different particular way. So different people in different category of clients have different types of need. So we can't place them in one balloon and say that these are just clients.
Wow. And I like how you've mentioned that apart from now the coding program and the teaching program, there are other things that are integrated, the other life skills.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you mind telling us a little bit about the other life skills that are, and you've mentioned one about procedural thinking, maybe some other ones that kids can learn?
So other life skills are something called problem solving. So number one, what do we say when you say problem solving? Problem solving is once someone has a problem and they can maneuver to get to the solution. In normal or layman language, we say troubleshooting. If that's an IT word. So if it's a complex word, we can say troubleshooting.
Troubleshooting.
So that's a life skill, problem solving. So the other one is a skill called maths.
Maths.
So
Maths is a skill.
it's a skill.
Jesus.
It's a skill.
Yes.
Everything that you do, even in your M-Pesa balance, you have to calculate. So it's maths. It's maths. So we made it's maths. So another thing, it's a language. Don't forget that coding is a language.
It's a language.
It's a language. Why? Because we have different types of ways to communicate with computers, and with the way you communicate with the computer
Yes.
is where you add a language. Because me and you are talking in English. That's a language.
Yes.
So
yes, yes.
how do you communicate with computers?
Computers.
It's another language. So there are different types of languages. We have Python, we have HTML, CSS, and all those other languages. So it's a language. So once you have developed your learning skills, you can talk. Now that's now for those toddlers. Now it's a way of opening up their mindset. So we are opening up their mindset. We are opening up their language, and we are also opening up with their skills to think. So it's brain,
And speech.
speech. It's brain, speech, and the way you process the way you articulate yourself. So it's brain and speech.
Brain and speech.
It's brain and speech.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You people. Hey, I'm just sitting here and I'm listening to everything you're saying, and I'm getting very, very interested. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really, really getting interested that it's a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's just that it hasn't been talked about and told to people. Yes, a lot, but it's something that has been happening. And is this the same case where we have like other people from other small kids? When we keep on saying, oh, a 5-year-old child in China can make me a watch, or can do this and this. This is what we are trying to achieve when we're doing this.
Yes, this is what we are trying to achieve by what we say STEM.
STEM.
So this is a science, it's a technology, it's engineering. So when you major in robotics, you're doing something called engineering and technology. So we are
Very
trying
true.
to push this because China is way ahead than what we are doing. So if a 5-year-old in China can do something, can create even a website,
Yes.
what about in Kenya? So it's the same thing we're doing. We're trying to push it even in schools. We're trying to push it in homes, and we thank the government for introducing something called the CBC.
Wow.
And something funny, if the parents are very keen with their child and the way they're learning, they would understand that this is something that even it has been introduced in the CBC. It's coding somewhere in the science book.
It is. It is there.
It's there somewhere in the science book, and I think we call them grade 6.
Grade 6. Yeah.
Exactly. Somewhere it's called coding. They have a segment of coding, and they just mentioned it, but they didn't dive deeper into it.
Wow.
Mentioned.
So the government knows there's something
There's
like
something
that.
like that, and there's something way ahead because they are trying to, come up with something that will make our education system much more interesting.
Interesting and interactive, and that is very good. Now, you've said you've done coding 6 years. Of course, there has been challenges, and we've mentioned ups and downs. But here we like to focus on the positive. But I'm going to ask a question about that. In teaching the young children, you as teachers, you as the company boss and things like that, do you have challenges with that?
Okay. So, particularly, I have maybe challenges when it comes to, other kids, like the kids that you can't place them in one area and just sit there.
I can assist you when we were young.
They just jump around.
Yes.
You just have to introduce them to other types of things. So the there's that.
Yes, yes, yes.
There's a little bit of other challenges, such as finding the correct way to communicate your message and to reach those parents.
Yes, yes.
So
yes,
that's
yes.
also a challenge. And from our perspective, we have found challenges, kind of a lot of challenges here and there, trying to market and reach out to parents
in the spirit of sensitizing.
in the spirit of sensitizing. So it's also a challenge, but the way you've said, we like to focus on the positives. I can say we've come a long way.
Yes.
For us to reach here, we've just come a long way, and we're still going a longer way. A longer way. Yeah.
Wow.
So, any other question? It's any other question? Just on around that area, ma.
That area, remember, Liz. I wanted to specify on the specify on the what is it called, like the interactions between the teachers and the people who are being taught, and how you guys maneuver. Because that time I was called to babysit somebody.
Yeah, jumpy, very jumpy.
I almost died. Jesus Christ. But you guys know you also have like you know how to maneuver. You also have psychologists there, so they can be able to tell you this kid akoivi, this kid is like this. So you cater for all their needs, which I think is very amazing. We don't have places like that where when you are teaching, even in schools, I think they should introduce something like that, like psychologists there, because kids are different. There's something funny what you're saying is after in our events, what we do, what we have different activities. Yes.
That, and then we have that psychologist, and we send kids out to play, and the psychologist comes with a pen and paper. They write the review of what your child has been doing.
Wow.
And what interests
they have. Wow.
If they don't go to coding, I'll just say, this is not a coder. This is maybe an art person. Maybe this is what do we call it? Chef. We call them chefs.
Yes.
So we have all those activities. We throw kids out there.
Wow.
To experiment. The point, something funny about coding is
experimenting.
So that's what we majorly focus on. Like if it's introduced in schools, that let kids experiment, and that's where you find their interests and their passion.
Wow, that is amazing. And there's a question that somebody asked me when I saying, I told somebody I'm coming to do an interview and a talk with a coder, and then they were asking, so this is a question people are asking. So I think I'm the one who's asking. Does coding have money?
Particularly,
I have represented you, my people, but yes.
So it has.
Yes.
So if you can see the cost of making a website.
Yes.
So there are websites that just cost even a whopping 200,000.
Very true.
There's a whopping 200,000, and this is a skill that you've learned for more than 6 years. So for you to tell me to create a website, do you think I can give you like at a throwaway price?
Wow.
It's a skill that I've developed
for 6 years.
For 6 years, and then me giving you at a whooping price, like a throwaway price, I can't. So that's something you can say.
Wow.
It's expensive. Learning is expensive.
Yes.
And also the expense that you put in coding it's gonna pay up one day.
Wow.
Let me just put it like that.
That is good. So to the parents who are actually, in these days, this world being a world where you need to have some money in your pockets and to do things, one or two things, which is kawaida and very, very, you've heard from the horse's mouth that it pays and it's good for your young people, for your children, and again, not necessarily going into being materialistic and all that. It helps the child learn life skills, just apart from the programming and the coding. Now they learn other different things that help them in the speech, the way they think, the way they carry themselves, the way they interact with other people, the way they socialize. He's also mentioned that in all those things there are like the functions you people make. there's a psychologist on ground. So your kid is, the psychologist is able to look at the kid and say this kid is like this, like this. There are parents who don't know how their kids are, and they find it hard to parent them, you know. And that is a good thing. Where have you ever heard about that? Hey, you guys. And now, is there something you want to add on that?
Okay, is there
Yes,
something I
please.
wanted to add?
Yes, please.
So for this psychologist,
Mhm.
gives this one particular time told the kids to paint whatever they want. So from the painting, you understand what the child is thinking.
Exactly.
Maybe he did paint the dad, so
Yes.
that means the dad is
The dad is not.
is not there or not active.
Or he doesn't. They don't think about the dad.
Exactly, because
Wow, wow.
so that's why we allow kids to experiment. We put them out there. You
Yes.
do what you do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I'm just enjoying this whole conversation. Now you've mentioned something about robotics. Tell me something about robotics.
So robotics.
Mhm.
So this is what we said on the
Yes.
last part. The 4 types of programming. So we have scripted. So this is automations. This is where we have automations. This is where we have some of these things that we call CRMs. CRM or customer relation management systems. This is where we have things that have to do with not a human doing it,
Yes.
but robot kind of automation doing it. Automation. So if a robot is told to pick up an arm and maybe take an apple from this point to this point, now that's automation. So robotics in our normal day and era is
Yes.
where we can have items such as drones and so many other things. So robotics is much interesting, and it's a science,
Wow. Yeah.
and it's an engineering. So it has a combination of science, technology, and engineering. Also maths, actually. It's a STEM.
It's a STEM thing.
It's a STEM thing. So by the end of the day, you just have to know it's a STEM thing. STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
And you also teach robotics to these young kids.
Yeah, as you saw in the video,
video,
that's a kid doing a robot.
Well, parents, what else do you guys want? What else do you want? I mean, I feel like the way we are moving with time, the way we're moving with the new age, we have Generation Alpha and Generation Gen Z.
Gen Z's.
Things are just, and parents are like, wow, what is happening? There's so much, there's a lot of things going on. Enlightenment going on. Like, if you're not on your toes as a parent, you'll be utapotea kwa hizi vitu zote. And that is why we are talking about, and that is why today here at the Zoe Breakfast Show, we're talking about coding, robotics. And that is why we have an expert in studio talking about all those things. So if you have a question, remember you can be part of this conversation. There's a number on your screen, 0700075 555, and you can also check us on our all our social media platforms. Yes, at Zoe TV _Kenya, and you can ask questions. And even when we are done with this conversation, you can still go there and ask a question. He will answer. I will make sure he answers. You will answer them.
Kabisa.
Atawajibu.
Sitawaacha.
So it's very good. Be inquisitive. Let us learn as much as our kids are learning stuff. Let us also purpose to learn these things, because we are getting into now a future where, and you've mentioned something about everything being automated and AI'd, you know. So
Something called, you can summarize it as IoT, Internet of Things.
Internet of Things.
Internet of Things.
IoT. Brothers, well, that is good. Now, how do you make sure, because we have now, apart from the people who are internet is accessible to them, and these things of robotics are and coding are very accessible to them, like maybe mtu anaishi CBD, anaishi wapi na wapi na wapi, you can be able to access them. How now about the what happens and your company and you and coding to the people who are very far and they cannot get the access to internet and things like that? How are you making sure that the information is getting to them and will get to them in future? Yeah.
So particularly we have different programs. So we have 3 major programs.
Okay.
So the first one I have talked about homeschooling.
Homeschooling, yes.
This is where we, as Coding Clubs Kenya, and me particular sends a trainer who comes to your place and trains your kid.
Wow.
Now, even if you're in somewhere far away, we can reach there. And then we have another one called we have clubs, school clubs. Nowadays, in our eras, we used to have drama club, music club,
environment club.
Bus. Now coding is a
Yes.
club. So we come to the school, depending on where the school is located, we can even come to the school. We train those kids in their school, and we form a club. We train that club to do particularly coding, and then we have that junior developing class. This is where after Form 4, your child ametupitia kila kitu, ametoka from homeschooling, ameingia shule, then amemaliza shule, and then ako zile za form ni gani.
What's next?
Sasa we introduce tuendelee na coding.
Wow.
That's what we call junior development. Now they can do something called front end. They can be even bigger engineers. Now they can major and specialize in whatever they want to do.
Wow, that is amazing, people. To the viewers who are watching from home, and you're a teacher, probably you're a person who holds an office in an institution, universities also, I believe.
Yeah, I do.
You do things like that?
Universities.
Yeah. So if you have a position in any of those places, you know, today is the day. Introduce coding to your people. Introduce coding because it's good. And we're talking about automation, talking about technology taking over now, and everything. IoT.
Internet of Things.
Internet of Things. I was looking for that word in my brain. Internet of Things.
Internet of Things.
Basically everything these days, and you guys have seen your phones, you have M-Pesa, you have apps, you
Even
want food.
fridges.
If kila kitu is AI, do you know?
Kwanza hadi everything, like for example,
Yeah,
this particular time you had this car sensor, kaleka, unaenda, you go to the toilet and
Oh, and then the machine inako, what is that being called by the way? Traffic. We need sasa nimeenda kwa choo nikafanya hivi mikono kasikia wow.
Yeah.
And to think of how, you know, people just do these things and they're like, this is metengenezwa na watu. But you can make that.
You can make a lot of things.
Jesus Christ.
From
yeah.
that one knowledge, you have a spectrum of ideas.
And that is your kid having all those, and a young person having all those things. And if you're watching as a young person, by the way, this is very accessible. And I've told you, after Ikiish Hapa will give you where you will find him. You know, and I feel I'm supposed to hide him, and then you guys pay me for this. But anyway, we will see, because it's very important. Now, there's something else I was asked by someone when we are coming to again. Nilikuwa ninaenda nikiambia kila mtu tunafanya coding. Tunafanya coding leo asubuhi. Before we get to that, maybe for 29 seconds, 20 seconds. To the parents and the young people who are watching from home, and they're really interested in this thing, and they really want to get into coding. Maybe some advice you would give them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, number one, I'll start by saying anything that uses electricity uses code. So, if you're very interested in programming, in particularly coding, it's a long journey. There's always what we call bugs in every particular code you write. So it's a tough journey, but by the end of the day, you're gonna get there. So after you get to the rock bottom, the only place is up.
Wow. You're one of the guests who has kept the 20 seconds time. Nambianga mtu sema kitu kwa wanafanya 1 minute. That was very precise, detailed, subtle, and straight to the point. What keeps you motivated?
So what keeps me motivated? Let me tell you, I have a lady that keeps me motivated. Kwenye kuko na, you know.
Wow.
Behind every.
You want to shout her out?
Yeah, I want. Sharon Kennedy. Behind every successful man is always a woman.
There's a woman.
Is always a woman. Yeah. So that's what I mean. the only time we actually talk business
Yeah.
ever. She just pushes me to more limits and more limits.
Wow, wow, that is beautiful. So the men out there, I hope you have heard how other men in this room
In this room.
are appreciating their women. It is good. It is very amazing, by the way. And a very big shout out to her for making this. This is a masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
Tutakupata, we'll interview you
Very
specifically on
soon.
that. That is amazing. Before you give your parting shot, what is the one thing you can change about the way coding is taught to young people?
So let coding not be taught as something you need to do, but something you need to do to help others. It's a skill that you learn not to service yourself,
Yes.
but service others. Because by the end of the day, you're creating a mobile app, WhatsApp. For example, you created a WhatsApp.
Yes.
It was not majorly for you to benefit yourself. It's majorly
For other
benefit
people.
others. So by the end of the day, every other subject and every other thing should be taught as a service.
Wow. Wow.
So that's all I can say, as a service.
As a service.
Because you learn things when you serve.
And now when you serve, you create a need for people. People will come to you to get that service.
Service.
And they'll give you something, they'll give you money. But
Bas.
tunapenda pesa.
Tunapenda pesa.
They will give you money.
Kabisa, kabisa.
Wow.
And actually, I started service. Something funny. I started
Yes.
service in church,
In church.
and I thank God, because once God opens your head, you know, even something funny. Even in church, when you're doing something small, God sees that. When actually I was an usher, and I was uko nyuma too, doing my things.
Yes.
I was just passionate about that. And then he started giving me these ideas. You know what? Do this, do this. Now it's
Wow.
now from service you learn from service, even in church, even in place where you're serving, you learn a lot of things. In the community, it's not all, but I think it's a reggae song that says no man is an island.
No man is an island, yes.
So from that point, service is always.
Wow. Hey, and I like how you say that. And let me give you something else about that. In relation to being discipled, you guys know what being discipled is. You allow, and today in our morning devotion, funny enough, we were talking about God and people. Trusting in God to give you, to do what, anything, kila kitu.
Kila kitu.
You know, like God is your AI.
Exactly.
And akufanyia, God is your chat GPT.
Akufanyia,
Everything.
you know, something funny.
Yeah.
You can't make it without believing in
You
something.
cannot, by the way.
And God is you know, as Coding Clubs Kenya, I do believe in God, and I do believe that the power that God has given us, like He is the creator,
True.
and He has given you that mind to even create job opportunities, to create opportunities, and even to create all those computers.
Yeah.
So by the end of the day, you're the creator, and computer is just for your service.
So computer is serving you.
The computer
Not
is serving
you serving the
It's
computer.
not you serving the computer. And the first time we met, I think I gave you this analogy of us finishing school and kuambia kufanya computer ndio ufanye secretary. So ni kama computer inakupatia kazi ya secretary. You remember me giving it? Yeah. Ati nikaa computer inakupatia kazi ya secretary.
Yet computer is helping you develop those skills to be that
Secretary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, your parting shot.
So
Hata sitaki kuongea sana.
So
Your parting shot.
my parting shot.
And where they can find you
Okay.
and your company, everything.
So as I said, my name is Joseph Nganga Nyongari, Coding Clubs Kenya, CEO. You can find me on www.codingclubskenya.com, on Instagram, Young Minds in Tech. We have 2 pages on Instagram, Young Minds in Tech, then Coding Clubs Kenya. So what other thing we are found Facebook, the same, Coding Clubs Kenya. Our location now, now comes to locations, ndio. So kuko na Google Map hapo wanaweza angalia. So we are located in 2 places. We're located in Kikuyu, we're also located in Tino, and we are expanding to come to watu wa Thika, ni wa Ruiru juu, ni Thika.
Ruiru Juja Thika.
Ni kuna kitu wanasemanga Thika Ruiru Juja ama okay, your side.
You guys know
Thika Road. Tuseme tu Thika Road.
Thika Road.
We are coming very soon in Thika Road. And thanks everyone for watching the show. I have been yours, Joseph Nano, and when we meet, we'll just say hi.
Wow, that is good. Mr. Joseph, thank you very much, even for finding time to come and educate us about coding and robotics and where we can find you, and telling us as young people and also as parents who are at home that coding is very accessible to people and they can learn it as a skill and as a service, you know. And it is very good that we've talked about that today. And today was a Tuesday, and today was Technology Tuesday, and that is why we were talking specifically, particularly about coding and robotics. Well, this is where we unfortunately or fortunately draw the curtains of today. This is where we call it a close. This has been a beautiful, beautiful, good show with you. And I have learned so much, by the way, and I'm not interested in coding. I think nafani toke hapa ni nende class.
You went to class.
Ikimbia class ya coding. I make you guys websites, then you pay me. Hey, but that was very amazing, and thank you very much, by the way, for educating us on that. He has told you where you can find him, the location, and all those places, even in social media. Please go and check it out. Learn 1 or 2 things about coding. Also tell your kids and tell your young people, your youth who are at home and who are interested in learning these things about technology, and the people, the kids, specifically the ones who are interested in the gadgets and things like that, automation and things like that. Tell them that this is a place they can find it, and you've been given the location and the social media platforms. This has been an amazing show. This has been the Zoe Breakfast Show. I have been your host, Arizona Brian, coming to you live, being a Tuesday, talking about technology. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Until next time, adios.
Hello, and how are you doing? I trust God is watching over you. Now, in every generation, God has always raised and anointed voices that he has used to communicate his word, to reveal his intentions, and shape the destinies of the lives of many people in those respective generations. We believe that God is still doing the same in our day and in our time. Zoe Television provides a platform for these voices to be heard. Our vision is to bring the life of God to the youth through media and television. However, we cannot do this on our own. We need your partnership financially, in kind, and your prayers for us to keep expanding this work that God has laid in our hearts to do. Together, we can accomplish so much more. Visit our website on www.zoetv.co.ke and sign up as a partner, or talk to us on 0700-075555 and find ways that you can also be a part of the vision and how you can stand with this work. Stay blessed as you consider to sign up as a Zoe Television partner. Welcome to the team.